I didn't expect the world to fall apart on a Tuesday afternoon. I was halfway through a cup of bitter vending machine coffee when my phone buzzed. Again. And again. A dozen notifications stacked on top of each other like a dam about to break. Our old group chat, Grad Gang Forever, was lighting up with emojis, hearts, and those glittery reaction gifs people drop when someone gets engaged or announces a pregnancy. I wasn't ready for what I saw. Naomi, OMG loudly crying face. Kira, wait, is that a ring? Julian, not yet, but soon winking face. Lana, haha stop flushed face. I stared at the screen. My fingers went numb. Then the photo came in. It was Lana, my Lana, laughing with her head tilted toward Julian, her left hand resting just close enough to his chest to let the bracelet dangle, soft and deliberate. No ring, not yet. But everything in the picture screamed intimacy, future. A promise I thought we were building together. And Julian? Of course it was Julian. I felt like I'd been punched in the throat. A dry, soundless kind of blow. No one in the group noticed my silence. They just kept reacting. Marlon, whoa okay this is official. Kira, they're so aesthetic together. Lana, just following my heart tulip. Julian, real ones no 100 points. Following your heart, I muttered. The words felt like glass in my mouth. I'd proposed to Lana 9 times. 9. Each time more thoughtful than the last. Once under fireworks on our graduation night. Once at her childhood beach, where she used to sketch waves in her notebook and say that's what love should feel like, constant but wild. I remembered every no she whispered, soft like it hurt her to say it. But she never left. She held my hand. She told me I was just too good, too soon. She said she needed time. She never said anything about Julian. I scrolled back through the messages, trying to find where I missed it. But there were no breadcrumbs. Just that photo, sudden, stunning, cruel. Kira, Eli's gonna lose it lol. Naomi, wait, is he even here anymore? Julian, let's not ruin the vibe. Lana, be nice. My name. There it was. Echoing in a space where I suddenly didn't belong. Like I was the ghost haunting my own relationship. I exited the chat without replying. The room around me blurred at the edges. I couldn't feel the chair under me anymore, or the cold of the coffee cup in my hand. Only the pit in my stomach, the kind that comes from being blindsided by someone you trusted with your whole heart. I wanted to believe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe Lana hadn't meant for that picture to feel like a slap. Maybe Julian was just a joke. But deep down, I knew. I'd known for weeks, months, even, every time she glanced at her phone when I talked about wedding venues, every time she changed the subject when I brought up moving in. I'd been holding on to a dream she'd already let go of. She just didn't have the guts to tell me. Or maybe she did. Maybe this was her way of telling me. Not with words. With a caption, a group chat, and a smile that didn't include me anymore. I locked my phone. Outside the window, the sky was dull and gray, a thin drizzle smearing across the glass. I stared at it for a long time, too tired to cry, too stunned to move. The cold crept into my fingertips, as if my body already knew what my mind was just starting to accept. She wasn't mine anymore. Not after 9 proposals. Not after all the promises whispered in the dark. Not even after everything we said we'd be. She chose someone else, and she did it with a photo. And for the first time in months, maybe years, a quiet voice inside me whispered something I hadn't dared to say aloud. Maybe I deserve someone who doesn't make me beg to be loved. The rain didn't stop that night. It smeared the city lights into watercolor blurs on the bus window as I rode home, hollow and silent, clutching my bag like it might anchor me to something real. I didn't text Lana. I didn't check the group chat. I didn't even scroll my feed. I just let the ache simmer in my chest, because for the first time, I needed to feel the full weight of what I'd been pretending not to see for months. We met in 7th grade. Lana had braces and a chipped pink phone case covered in Sharpie hearts. I was the quiet kid who kept a sketchbook under the desk. She caught me doodling her once and instead of getting mad, she laughed and said, "Next time, draw me smiling." She had this way of making everything feel like it was possible. When we were 15, she said we'd both get into the same college and live in the same building so we could, accidentally, bump into each other every day. She used to say marriage was just the final chapter of a friendship so good it couldn't end. I believed her. Every word. But the truth is, I didn't fall for Lana because she was perfect. I fell for her because she made me believe I could be something more than just the quiet boy in the back row. Back then, it felt like we were building something unshakable. Not just love. A life. Late-night study sessions. Cheap noodles and shared playlists. Her head on my shoulder while we watched the stars from the library steps. We talked about future apartment colors. Baby names. Honeymoon spots. Every detail lived in my mind like a blueprint I'd been quietly constructing. And every proposal came from that same place. Not pressure. Don't panic. Hope. Proposal 1, a handwritten letter in her favorite poetry book on our 3-year anniversary. She laughed, cried, and said, "Someday, just not yet." Proposal 2, a ring hidden inside a fortune cookie. She said it was sweet, but too public. Proposal 3, at the airport, before she left for her semester abroad. I told her I'd wait. She kissed me and whispered, "Don't wait too long." Proposal 6, the night she came home and cried in my arms after her father's heart attack. I said I wanted to build a life that made her feel safe. She hugged me like I was air, but still said, "Now's not the right time." I started spacing them out. Waiting for signs. Moments. Permission. Proposal 9, just 2 months ago, was in our favorite bookstore, surrounded by all the stories we once promised we'd write together. I didn't even get down on one knee. I just took her hand and asked, softly, if she was ready. She looked away. "You're everything I want, Eli," she'd said. "But I don't know if I want marriage." Not yet. I told her I'd wait again. But I was lying. Not to her, to myself. What I never told her was that marriage wasn't just about rings or legalities for me. It was about stability. Legacy. Honor. My dad worked 2 jobs so I could study architecture. He used to say, "You don't need to be rich to build a kingdom, just loyal." He died before he could see me graduate. But he saw Lana once, at a school showcase. After she left, he said, "That girl's your anchor. Don't let go." And maybe that was the problem. I mistook comfort for commitment. I turned loyalty into currency. I kept offering forever to someone who only wanted for now. Back in my apartment, I sat in the dark, the only light coming from the blinking router. Her old hoodie still hung on the chair, faded from the nights she crashed here between lectures. I stared at it like it might give me an answer. But there wasn't one. She'd moved on, at least emotionally, long before the photo ever landed in the group chat. And now I had to ask myself the question I'd been dodging for far too long. Who am I without her? That night, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't break things. I just opened a new file on my laptop, typed the words, "project," "self" at the top and stared at the blinking cursor. Maybe I couldn't fix the past. But I could build something new. The air in the internship studio was always cold, too cold. The kind of cold that seeps into your sleeves and makes your bones feel tired before the day even begins. I kept my head down, tapping through CAD designs for a retail project we'd been assigned last week. My headphones weren't playing anything. I just wanted the illusion of silence. Across the room, Lana was laughing. Again. I didn't look up, but I didn't have to. Her laugh had a rhythm I knew by heart. It used to be my favorite sound in the world. Now it felt like static in my chest. She was leaning over Julian's desk, their shoulders almost touching. His sketches, bold, messy, arrogant, were sprawled across the table. Lana pointed at something, said something low. He smiled like he owned the sun. I focused on my screen. The cursor blinked. My hand hovered over the mouse. Click. Rotate. Zoom. Rotate again. But nothing clicked. Not really. Julian had only joined the firm 2 months ago, a last-minute transfer from some flashy European program. He came in like a gust of wind, fast, loud, charming. People liked him immediately. Not because he was brilliant, though he wasn't bad, but because he carried himself like brilliance was inevitable. And Lana? She soaked it in. She started dressing sharper. Talking louder. Laughing is easier. Our shared Google Doc for our final project sat untouched. The design we'd brainstormed over midnight fries? Forgotten. I pulled open the doc now, just to check. Still blank. No comments. No edits. Just the title she insisted on 3 weeks ago, Rooted Design, Building a Future Together. The irony almost made me laugh. "Eli," a voice called. Lana's voice. I looked up, slow and blank-faced. She stood by the printer, holding a misaligned blueprint in one hand. "Your section's off. The scaling's weird." I nodded. "I'll fix it." She hesitated. Do you want help? I wanted to say, you haven't touched the project in days. I wanted to say, why are you laughing at his jokes and ignoring my messages? But instead, I said nothing. Just turned back to my screen and replied, I've got it. She lingered for a moment. I could feel it, her watching me. Maybe expecting me to start a fight. Or crack. Or say something dramatic, like I always did when I still believed we were worth saving. But I didn't. I wasn't her doormat anymore. And I wasn't her emotional safety net either. Let Julian be her applause. Let him be shiny and magnetic. I had work to do. During our team lunch break, I stayed behind. I told the supervisor I needed to reprint some blueprints. Truth was, I just didn't want to sit across from them while they played pretend in front of everyone else. But I still checked the group's Slack thread out of habit. Julian, why does Eli always skip lunch? Are you fasting for clarity, bro? Grinning face with sweat. Lana, he's just focused lately. Marlon, focused or feral? Man's going rogue. Julian, hey, more space for me and my muse. Lana, face with rolling eyes. Anna, chill. That last message was different. Anna was new. Quiet, observant. She barely spoke in meetings, but when she did, it was always something that cut through the noise. And maybe I imagined it, but something about her tone felt like an ally. That night, as I packed up, I saw Lana approaching my desk. Eli, she said, soft, you didn't have to ignore me all day. I looked up at her for the first time in what felt like weeks. Didn't I? She blinked. You're free to laugh with him, I said, zipping my bag. Just, don't expect me to play third wheel to my own heartbreak. That's not fair. No, I said. What's not fair is putting 9 proposals in your rearview and pretending like none of it meant anything. She folded her arms. It wasn't that it meant nothing. I was scared. You were always so sure. Because I meant it. Every time. Lana opened her mouth, but I was already walking away. And for the first time, she didn't follow me. I didn't want to go. Anna had to convince me. It's just drinks, she said. You don't even have to talk. But showing up means you're still in the game. I didn't care much about the game. Not anymore. But something about Anna's calm made it hard to say no. And maybe, just maybe, I was tired of hiding. So I went. The rooftop was lit in warm string lights, the city skyline painting 1,000 glowing windows behind Julian's posh apartment. There was champagne and plastic flutes, indie music playing too low, and an uncomfortable number of people I recognized from group chats and deadline hell. And there she was. Lana, by the balcony, laughing, always laughing, with Julian beside her like he belonged there. Like she belonged to him. She wore the yellow dress I bought her last spring. The one she once said made her feel like sunlight. She hadn't worn it in months. Julian had his hand on her waist. My chest clenched. Anna handed me a drink. Breathe, she murmured. You're not here for her. I don't know why I'm here, I said, eyes still locked on Lana. Maybe to confirm what I already knew. Anna didn't respond. She just stayed near me. Like shade in summer. Silent, but solid. Later, I ended up near the snack table, chewing on cold shrimp and trying not to think. Julian passed by, drink in hand, cocky as ever. Eli, man. You made it. Unfortunately, I muttered. He laughed. Look, no hard feelings, yeah. Life's wild. Sometimes people just click. Is that what you call it? Julian leaned in, tone dropping. You had your chance. 9 of them, right? Maybe she just got tired of waiting for you to stop asking and start listening. I set my drink down. Is this the part where I'm supposed to congratulate you? I asked. Because it feels more like you're here to rub it in. He smirked. Relax. She's happy. Shouldn't that count for something? Before I could answer, Lana appeared beside him, lips pursed like she'd caught part of the exchange. Julian, she said sharply. Can you get me another drink? He raised an eyebrow, then walked off. She turned to me. What did he say? Nothing new. Just confirming that betrayal's easier when the other guy comes with a penthouse view. Her jaw tightened. Don't do this here. Why not? This is your scene, isn't it? Rooftops and spotlights and people who don't ask forever. Lana stepped closer. Eli, stop. I didn't. I took out my phone, opened the group chat, Grad Gang Forever, and stared at the thread for a second. Then, with a steady thumb, I tapped. Leave group. Just like that. Clean. Lana's eyes widened. What are you doing? Letting go. I turned, walking toward the stairwell before my heart could change its mind. As I reached the door, I heard her call my name once, just once, but I didn't stop. For the first time since the first proposal, I didn't turn around. Outside, the wind was sharper. The street is quieter. But inside me, something had shifted. I didn't feel peace yet. Not quite. But I did feel something close. Control. I was halfway through editing the new marketing deck when Sasha, from HR, knocked on the glass wall of my cubicle. Eli, can I grab you for 5 minutes? 5 minutes. Always a lie. HR meetings were never 5 minutes. Sure, I said, saving my file and standing up, anxiety crawling like cold sweat under my collar. As I followed her down the hallway, I saw it, Julian, leaning against the doorway to the conference room, smug as always, like this was just another Friday. Inside, 2 more people waited, our director, Monica, and Lana. Lana. Sasha closed the door gently behind us. Eli, we've had a complaint about inappropriate behavior during last night's event. I blinked. Excuse me. Julian folded his arms. You made a scene. Lana told you not to. You made it personal, in public. My voice tightened. You mean the private conversation between 2 people who dated for 5 years? Monica spoke up. There were witnesses. We're not here to judge personal histories, Eli, but the workplace environment matters. I looked at Lana. Her eyes didn't meet mine. I didn't insult her. I didn't raise my voice. I left, quietly. Julian scoffed. You made her feel unsafe. That word landed like a slap. Unsafe. Lana finally looked up. Her lips parted, like she might correct him. But she didn't. Sasha was watching me carefully. We're going to recommend some time off, just to cool things down. A mental health break. Mental health break. Another corporate way to say vanish quietly so no one sues. I stood. You know what? Sure. Time off sounds great. Julian opened his mouth again, but I raised my hand. I've spent the last year being humiliated 1 bite at a time. 9 rejections. 1 stolen relationship. And now you're here, using HR like a stage to play the hero. He shifted uncomfortably, but I kept going. You can have the rooftop. The group chats. The job, even. I'm done playing the one who quietly takes it. Monica frowned. Eli. I looked at Lana again. You had every right to say no. But you didn't have to let him twist the knife. Her eyes glossed over. I never meant. Yeah, I said. I know. I walked out. Past the desks. Past the stairs. Through the glass lobby where the receptionist gave me a sad smile like I'd already been erased. And outside, into the blinding afternoon sun, I breathed in deep, once, then again. For the first time in years, I didn't care who was watching. Let them talk. Let them guess what happened. Because the real story, it was just beginning. It had been 4 days since I walked out of that HR room. For days since anyone from work had messaged me. For days since I'd eaten anything that wasn't delivered in a brown paper bag. I sat slouched on the couch, controller in hand, trying to focus on the game but barely making it past the loading screen. My phone buzzed. I ignored it. Buzzed again. Unknown number. I squinted. Then tapped. Hey Eli. It's Maya. Lana's best friend. Please don't block me. I just need to say something. I stared at the screen, thumb hovering. Maya had never messaged me before. She was Lana's closest friend, her gossip vault. If anyone knew the unfiltered version of Lana, it was her. Look, I know you hate her right now. I would too. But I was there that night. After you left, I sat up. She didn't sleep. She didn't drink. She cried in the hallway for 2 hours. Said she didn't know how to fix what she broke. I blinked. Julian saw her as a trophy. You saw her as a person. She knew that. That's why she couldn't say yes to you. Because she didn't think she deserved you. The words punched through my ribs. A knot twisted in my stomach. She said no because she loved you, but hated who she was becoming. I dropped the controller. This didn't make sense. Lana had let me suffer through 9 rejections. Let Julian creep closer every time. Let the whole group chat and laugh. But this? I'm not saying forgive her. I'm just saying, maybe it wasn't all that simple. I typed back. Why now? The dots appeared. Because she doesn't know I'm texting you. She'd never admit it. But she's dying inside. And I'm tired of watching her pretend she's fine. Another buzz. A photo. Lana. Curled up on Maya's couch. No makeup. Eyes swollen. hair a mess. Clutching the hoodie I gave her last winter. She looked wrecked. My thumb trembled. My chest tightened. She did care. But then, why the silence? Why let me drown alone? Maya's final message came through. Sometimes people destroy the things they love because they're scared they're not worthy of them. I stared at the screen for what felt like forever. Then I closed my eyes. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't know what to feel. I didn't plan it. I just showed up. Lana's apartment building looked the same. Beige. Boring. Forgettable, except for the way my stomach twisted as I stood at the front door. My knuckles hovered for a full minute before I knocked. No answer. Then the door creaked open. Lana stood there in sweats and a loose tee. Her hair was tied back, but it looked like she hadn't bothered brushing it. Her eyes widened like she'd seen a ghost. Eli. Her voice cracked. I didn't smile. Didn't scowl. I just breathed. Can we talk? She hesitated. Then stepped aside. The apartment was dim, quiet. No scented candles. No music. Just silence, like it had been grieving too. She sat at the edge of the couch, knees drawn up slightly. I stood, arms crossed, unsure where to begin. I got a message, I said. From Maya. Lana looked up, startled. She told me about that night. After the rejection. After I left. Her lips parted, but no words came out. I sat across from her. I just need to know why, Lana. 9 times. 9 rejections. 9 chances to say yes. And when I finally gave up, you said nothing. You let me walk. Her eyes welled. Because I hated myself. What? She looked down, voice trembling. I kept rejecting you because, every time you asked, I'd panic. I'd think, what if I mess it up? What if I hurt him like I hurt everyone else? I thought if I said yes, I'd ruin you. I sat in stunned silence. She continued, voice raw. Julian. He was easy. Shallow. Predictable. With you, it was terrifying. You saw me. Not the filtered version. Not the performance. Just me. And I didn't think I deserved that. My throat tightened. Then the group chat happened, she whispered. I didn't know they were going to do that. I wasn't even there when it started. By the time I saw it, it had blown up. I tried to stop them. But you didn't defend me, I cut in. Not once. Not publicly. You just watched. She flinched. I know. I froze. I didn't want to make it worse. I thought, maybe you'd come talk to me. I thought maybe, you hated me too much to even look back. I ran a hand through my hair. My anger was still there, but dulled, like a fading scar. Do you know what that did to me? I said, quieter now. I thought I was a joke to you. I thought I meant nothing. You weren't, she said quickly. You were everything. That's why it hurt so much. Why didn't I know how to fix it? Why I didn't try? Because I thought I'd already lost you. We sat in silence. 2 people in a room full of everything unsaid. Then she whispered, I never stopped loving you, Eli. I just stopped believing I deserved to. I closed my eyes. For the first time, I saw not the girl who broke me, but the girl who was breaking, too. Maybe we were both guilty. Maybe we both let fear win. And maybe, just maybe, this wasn't the end. I didn't go to the cafe expecting a scene. It was Maya's idea. She said Lana wanted to meet. Neutral ground. No pressure. I almost didn't show, until Maya added, she said it's about closure. Yours, not hers. So I went. The cafe was crowded that day. Too many eyes. Too much noise. I spotted Maya near the back, waving me over with a grin that didn't match her usual snark. She wasn't alone. Lana stood beside her. But she wasn't dressed casually. She was in a fitted cream blazer, hair done soft and neat, cheeks lightly blushed. Her eyes caught mine, and for a moment, we were the only 2 people in the room. Eli, she said, walking toward me. Wait here. Before I could ask anything, she stepped away, straight onto the small cafe stage usually used for open mic nights. A barista lowered the lights. Someone handed her a mic, and my heart stopped. Hi, everyone, Lana began, her voice cracking just slightly before she steadied herself. Sorry to interrupt your coffee, but I need to say something. Something, overdue. People turned their heads. Whispers started. She took a deep breath. There's a man sitting back there. Table 12. His name is Eli. And I've broken his heart more times than I can count. Every eye turned to me. I froze. I said no to him, 9 times. I hurt him in front of our friends. I watched him walk away when I should have run after him. But today, I'm here to fix that. She reached into her blazer pocket, pulled out a small velvet box. Gasps filled the room. I never stopped loving you, Eli, she said, her voice shaking now. I was scared. I was selfish. But not anymore. I've spent every day since you left regretting what I lost. Then she stepped off the stage. Walk right to me. Drop to one knee. My world blurred. Eli Thompson, she said, holding out the ring with trembling fingers, will you marry me? My chest caved. Half the cafe had their phones out. The other half were whispering, probably thinking this was some grand YouTube stunt. But all I saw was her. The girl who tore me down. The girl who was trying to build me back up. I swallowed hard. Lana. She blinked fast. You don't have to say yes. I just needed you to know I'd do anything to earn a second chance. Even if the answer is still no. Time paused. And then, I'm not saying yes, I said. Her face crumbled slightly. I knelt down beside her. Not yet. Hope flickered. But if you mean this, really mean it, then stand up. We've got a lot to talk about before we ever talk about rings again. She let out a shaky breath, eyes wet. Nodded. We stood together. The cafe burst into applause. Some cheered. Maya wiped a tear and muttered something about Lana finally growing a backbone. But none of that mattered. Because Lana had done what I never expected, she'd fought for me. And maybe, just maybe, I could learn how to trust her again. I didn't sleep the night after the proposal. Even after the applause faded, after Lana and I left the cafe without saying much, after Maya whispered in my ear, don't let a good apology turn into a trap, I still couldn't close my eyes. The image of Lana on one knee haunted me. So did the pain from those 9 rejections. I sat on my apartment floor, staring at the velvet box she left behind. She hadn't taken it back, just placed it on the table gently, as if it belonged to me now. I hadn't said yes. But I hadn't said no. I needed time. Time to understand what I wanted, not what she wanted. Not what the public wanted. Not what my heart screamed in the heat of the moment. And time showed me something strange. I no longer felt like the same man who begged 9 times. That man was desperate. I wasn't. I stood up from the floor, walked to the window, and stared at the city. The skyline felt quiet, familiar. Like it had been waiting for me to finally look up again. I texted Lana the next morning. Meet me where it all started. Noon. She replied almost instantly, I'll be there. The park hadn't changed. Same broken bench. Same little coffee cart. Same path where I'd once waited for hours after she ignored my 5th proposal. Now she was early. Standing by the bench, clutching a thermos. Hot chocolate, she said as I walked up. You always liked it more than coffee. I sat down beside her but kept a little distance. I need to say some things before you speak, I began. She nodded. I loved you for years, Lana. And for a long time, I blamed myself for why you didn't love me back. Thought I wasn't enough. I thought I had to keep proving I was. Her hands trembled slightly around the cup. But it wasn't me. It was you. You weren't ready. You didn't want what I wanted. I know, she whispered. And I hate that it took losing you to see it. I looked at her, really looked. No one deserves 9 rejections, I said, quieter now. But even after all of it, I still don't hate you. A tear slipped down her cheek. I don't know if we'll work, I said. I don't know if the damage can be undone. But I'm not going to propose again. She nodded slowly. Because if we ever get married, Lana, it has to be your choice, not my begging. She reached out and took my hand. I don't want a second chance to fix what we had, she said. I want to build something new, only if you'll let me. I didn't give her a poetic answer. I just held her hand tighter. And for the first time in years, I felt something new. Peace. 1 year later. The invitations were simple. No gold foil. No grand script. Just cream paper with our names side by side and a date, March 18th, the anniversary of my very first proposal. I stood in front of the mirror in a quiet dressing room, adjusting my tie. My hands didn't shake like they used to. My breath was calm. I heard a knock. It was Maya. You ready, Romeo? She grinned, holding a tiny bouquet in one hand. You sure she's not gonna say no this time? I laughed. I told her I wouldn't ask again. This time, she's meeting me halfway. Maya's smile softened. She already did. You just didn't see it. The music started in the garden outside. Sunlight spilled through the ivy arches as Lana walked toward me, not in a dramatic rush, not with tears, but with steady, certain steps. Her eyes held no regret, just peace, gratitude, love. When we stood together under the arch, hand in hand, she whispered, "Thank you for not waiting forever. That's what made me come back." I squeezed her fingers. "Thank you for choosing me without being asked." There were no grand vows. No elaborate speeches. Just two people who had once hurt each other, learning how to be gentle again. And when the officiant said, "You may now kiss," she didn't wait. She kissed me first. And I smiled, knowing. Sometimes, the best love stories don't begin with a yes. They begin with finally letting go of a please.